Hello, everyone. We're just going to give it a few more minutes for more people to join us. Thank you for being here. So, yes, just a few more minutes, then we'll get started. All right, if you're just joining us, we're going to give it a couple more minutes, then we will get started. Thank you again for being here, everybody. If anyone wants to be the brave soul and kind of unmute their mic and maybe break the ice a little bit, please feel free to introduce yourself, where you're from, what kind of officer you are. Any brave souls? I know it can be scary. Kind of reminds us of COVID-19 when we were all online for school.
Um, my name is Lily Newton. I'm from Bend, and I'm the vice president of the Trinity Lutheran Key Club.
Perfect. It's nice to meet you, Lily. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being the first brave soul.
Of course.
Any
Okay,
others?
I'll be another brave soul. We only have the
Perfect.
back camera right now because the front camera is broken, but I have my editor here, my vice president, and I'm the president. And we are Lake City Key Club, Lake City High School Key Club. So
Perfect.
yeah,
You guys
thank
got
you.
the whole group. Are you guys at a service project right now?
We do not have a service project going on right now. We are actually visiting our editor at the street fair. So, but yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you
Thank,
for sharing and introducing yourself.
thank you. I want a picture.
Yes. All right. Any others?
Hey, um, I'm not on camera, but my name's Grace Wallace, and I'm the secretary for Anacortes.
Perfect. Thank you for being here. Okay, I think it was nice meeting you guys, and I hope that everyone has the opportunity to share at some point, whether it's in the breakout sessions or with a question or comment later on. But I think we will go ahead and get started. Just to confirm, everyone can see the OTC slides? Okay. Perfect. All right, so first things first, before we get started, the material we're going over is only beneficial if you use it effectively. So please take notes, ask questions, process the information, and use this information for your terms. We'll also introduce ourselves. So my name is Gavin Ahumada. I'm the District Governor of Pacific Northwest Key Club. In my role, I support and grow our clubs and divisions, host webinars, help execute Key Club Days, Key Club Day North and South. I support our district board comprised of LTGs. I serve as an overseer of all clubs and divisions throughout the Pacific Northwest. And on the district board, we have committees, so I help guide and support those committees. I also serve on the district project and district convention committee. Outside of Key Club, I am a senior at University High School in Spokane Valley, Washington, and I enjoy reading, running, spending time with family and friends, and froyo is one of my favorite desserts and one of my favorite foods.
My name is Caitlin Kawamura, and I'm serving as your 2025-2026 Pacific Northwest District Secretary. My primary responsibility is to strengthen communication between the clubs, divisions, and the district. I also provide personalized support to clubs, track club progress through reading secretary reports and tracking district project contributions. I ensure the entire district board stays organized using spreadsheets and organizing our Google Drive. And I also serve as an executive liaison for the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee. A little bit about me. I'm a rising junior at North Creek High School in Division 21 in Bothell, Washington. Before my role as district secretary, I served as my 2025-2026 club secretary. Outside of school, I do karate. I'm a black belt in Shotokan karate. I love shopping, baking, eating, and visiting cafes around the Seattle area.
Hi, my name is Andrea Gonzalez, and I currently serve as your 2025 to 2026 District Treasurer. As District Treasurer, my role primarily ensures ensuring that the dues collection runs smoothly in the fall. This includes contacting clubs who have not paid their dues on time, as well as providing resources and assistance when needed when it comes to dues. And then, unlike the other execs, instead of serving as an executive liaison for one of our standing committees, I serve as a committee chair. I currently chair the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund, also known as the PNWOF. I lead the PNWOF committee to manage and promote the grant, which we will learn a little more about in a bit. But other than that, I also handle Lieutenant Governor reimbursements, as well as creating and maintaining club treasurer resources. Then I am a rising junior at Evergreen High School in Division 44, located in Vancouver, Washington. My Key Club journey consists of serving as a club treasurer this past service year. And outside of Key Club, I am a fellow with Latino Leadership Northwest, as well as with both Key Club and my internship. I spend a lot of time volunteering, but when I'm not doing that, I like to go out dancing and listening to music with my friends.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany Vaugh, and I serve as your 2025 to 2026 Pacific Northwest District Editor. In my role, I'm here to keep our district informed of district-wide updates and news by managing Pacific Northwest Key Club affiliated social media pages such as our Instagram or our YouTube. On top of that, I create graphics for various district committees such as MGRC or PNWOF while creating our official publication, The Espresso, which is posted quarterly, and you guys can find that on our issue. Additionally, I serve as the executive liaison to 2 district committees, including Kiwanis Family Relations, also known as KFAM, along with the Webmaster position. Some things about me are I'm a rising junior at Timberland High School, located in Olympia, Washington, from Division 38, Go Stars, and my Key Club journey consists of serving as a club secretary for this past service year. Outside of Key Club and school, I love hiking and swimming with my friends, playing volleyball, where I play as a libero, and baking, and along with trying new matcha spots.
Perfect. So now that you are familiar with the executive committee and your presenters, we will jump straight into Key Club 101. But before we get started, I always recommend that you make a to-do list. I think one of the most effective ways to take notes during an OTC is to create a to-do list. Maybe you have action items that you hear during this presentation, and you want to act on those during the summer or early fall, and maybe you want to encourage your officers to also act on those items. So please set aside a page in your notebook or in documents to keep track of to-dos. Also, before we get started, I want to highlight some Key Club lingo because we throw acronyms around like they're nothing. It sometimes feels like it's a little bit of alphabet soup. So please feel free to snap a picture of this because I will move on pretty quickly. I won't walk through each of these acronyms, but it's important for you to be familiar with these, and we will refer to many of these acronyms throughout the presentation. Many of you are already familiar with the Key Club structure, especially the member and club level. However, where it gets to be a little bit more interesting is the divisional, district, and international level. Starting with the member level, this is one that you are probably most familiar with. That's you, that's the members you serve in your club. Members then make up a club, which is led by elected officers such as yourselves. Clubs conduct their own service projects, fundraisers, and elections. Multiple clubs then make up a division. Multiple divisions make up the district. The district is led by executive officers and lieutenant governors who form the district board. You might also be familiar with your lieutenant governor who leads your division. The international level is comprised of 33 districts, which represents 38 countries throughout the world. A president, a vice president, and 11 trustees lead Key Club International at the international level by counseling districts and making important decisions that impact the future of our organization. Starting with the district board, the executive committee leads the committee chairs and lieutenant governors, who are all mentored by Kiwanis area administrators and the district administrator and the district administrator's assistant. The executive committee comprises the governor, myself, the secretary, treasurer, and editor who are also presenting today. Then there's a picture of the district board during the 2024-2025 service year. Again, the district executive committee comprises myself, the governor, Caitlin, the secretary, Andrea, the treasurer, and Tiffany, the editor. On the international level, we are led by the international president, Isabella Baldessari, who is also the immediate past Pacific Northwest District governor. So we are very excited to be led by a PNW representative this year. The international vice president is Luna Alawad, and our trustee is unknown right now, so we have kept Chikanma Okoiser, who was the 2024-2025 international trustee, but we will have a new trustee very, very soon. On the note of international trustees, they are similar to a lieutenant governor because they serve as a liaison from the international to the district level, similar to how lieutenant governors serve as liaisons from the district to the club level. The Kiwanis family is an important note for you to keep in mind. There are 6 branches that constitute the Kiwanis family. At the elementary level, K-kids serve alongside their elementary school peers. Builders Club is the middle school level, similar to Key Club, and Key Club is, of course, our high school level. That's the one we all hold very dear and near to our hearts. Circle K International is the college level of Key Club. Action Club is for adults with disabilities, and Kiwanis is considered the parent organization of them all. This is the adult version of Key Club. Many of you, again, are very familiar with these core values, but in case you are not, Key Club is guided by these 4 core principles of caring, leadership, character building, and inclusiveness. This should hopefully guide much of your work as a club president, club vice president, or another club officer. Key Club International also partners with organizations such as Schoolhouse, which was founded by the Khan Academy CEO, Sal Khan, and which aims to provide free tutoring to students throughout the world. Erica's Lighthouse promotes positive mental health and provides resources that we can utilize to encourage positive mental health. We also have preferred charities, namely the Thirst Project and UNICEF. The Thirst Project aims to provide clean drinking water, especially to communities in Africa, and UNICEF dedicates its efforts to providing support to developing children by providing resources such as education. The Global Leadership Certificate is also an important aspect of Key Club 101. This curriculum includes videos, assessments, resources, and activities for you to learn how to effectively share your voice and serve your community's needs. The Global Leadership Certificate offers 40 courses based on meaningful relationship building, strategic versus tactical leadership, self-awareness and inclusion, civic engagement, and much, much more. I often describe the GLC as a self-help book, but in video form. even at this high leadership position, I still see things that I learned in the GLC courses, and I might jot them down and I might implement them later in my life. These small things that can make a big difference in your personal development and leadership style. The Pacific Northwest District, taking a broader look and a closer look at our district, we are geographically comprised of Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, Canada, Panhandle, Idaho, Alaska, and Northern California. Just a sliver of Northern California, however. We are the largest district by geography. With 11,800 members, we are a mighty district with 282 clubs as well. Our mascot is Mortimer the Moose, who you can see at the center there. We call him Morty for short because Mortimer is sometimes a bit of a mouthful. Our district color is also fuchsia, so we kind of have a fun hot pink to rep our district. The district also utilizes committees as the main instrument to accomplish our goals. This year, we are utilizing 6 committees. The District Convention Committee, responsible for organizing DCON, the District Project Committee, responsible for providing resources for you and your clubs to be involved in our new district project this year, the Kiwanis Family Relations Committee, which promotes improved Kiwanis family relations, MGRC, or the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee, which dedicates its efforts to increasing membership growth and retention. The Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund is dedicated to providing a grant program so that clubs can pursue their dream service projects regardless of financial barriers. The Webmaster Chair is also a committee this year. They are responsible for updating and maintaining the website. Committees are appointed by myself, the district governor, and they are typically comprised of a committee chair, secretary, 4 to 7 lieutenant governors, and 2 to 3 area administrators to mentor and guide the committee. The committees of the Pacific Northwest District provide numerous resources, some of which you can see on the screen here. Many of these resources can also be found on the district website at pnwkeyclub.org. The Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund kind of falls into the category of committee resources. This grant program provides $100 to $1,000 for clubs to pursue their dream service project. As is the case with many resources, you can find the application for the PNWOF on the Pacific Northwest Key Club website, which is linked on this slide. If you are considering applying for the PNWOF, please ensure you do so between September 1st and October 31st. This is the window during which the application is available. You've heard me mention the website numerous times, but just to reiterate, district resources can be found on our website, which is linked below. You can also find more of our resources and more updates on our Pacific Northwest Key Club Instagram page, which is shown on the image to the left. On the image to the right, you can see an image of the biweekly updates, which I send on a biweekly basis. You can subscribe to these updates, and I encourage you to do so, especially as officers, on our website. More resources are provided by your division. Your lieutenant governor produces monthly newsletters. That's an example of a newsletter I produced last year as lieutenant governor. On the right is an example of a divisional Instagram account, and another example is listed on the left. So the final thing I want to discuss as part of Key Club 101 is the district project. Every year, the governor is responsible and has the privilege to select one high-impact service project for the district to pursue and to support. This year, we are dedicating our efforts to Ronald McDonald House Charities. Is anyone here, just by a show of hands, familiar with Ronald McDonald House Charities? Okay, looks like a few. I know the execs are very familiar. But in case you are not, Ronald McDonald House Charities is a global organization dedicated to keeping families close. For example, if you live in the Tri-Cities area and your child maybe has a severe illness and requires medical attention at a specialized hospital, Ronald McDonald House Charities provides temporary housing for the family while their child receives specialized health care. There are over 385 houses located throughout the world, including several in the Pacific Northwest, including those in Anchorage, Portland, Seattle, Spokane, and Vancouver, British Columbia. This project will provide accessible, high-impact service opportunities to benefit communities throughout the Pacific Northwest and to provide you and your club opportunities to be involved. To start your brainstorming, you can start to be involved in Ronald McDonald House charities by fundraising, serving, and promoting. Your fundraising efforts will help to keep families close while their child receives life-saving health care. If you need more assistance brainstorming ideas for fundraising, use the Pacific Northwest Directory of Fundraising Ideas and Tips, abbreviated as the PNW DFIT. This is another resource that you can find on the PNW website. For service opportunities, I encourage you to start by contacting your local house to identify their urgent needs. For example, houses are in constant need of toilet paper, snacks, because kids are always running around and always wanting to just grab a snack and keep running, hygiene products, because families often leave their homes in a rush before giving any thought to the hygiene products that they will need. Boxed cereal is also often in high demand. If you want to schedule a regular service project with your club, consider signing up to prepare a meal with your club. You can also enlist the support of your Kiwanis Club, who can help you purchase the materials and the ingredients for your meal and can help guide you as you create a meal in a Ronald McDonald House. One of perhaps the easiest and most immediate ways that you can be involved is through promotion. You can host a coin drive or pop tab drive at your school to raise awareness, and you can also follow RMHC and repost their content to begin your involvement with Ronald McDonald House and to begin supporting our district project this year. All right, we will now begin with officer training. So, our agenda for this evening. We will begin with general officer information, such as tips for delegation and general officer expectations. We will then move into the editor and webmaster training, which have been grouped together and will be presented by Tiffany. The treasurer material will be presented by Andrea, secretary will be presented by Caitlin, and I will present the material and content for president and vice presidential responsibilities. The first topic that I'd like to address for general officer expectations is attendance. As the leaders of your clubs, it is vital that you demonstrate and set the example for involvement. Presidents will be attending presidential council meetings, and I will discuss those further in our president and vice president sections. You should also be attending club service projects and fundraisers to demonstrate and set an example of involvement and enthusiasm. Other events that you should be attending include DCMs, DCON, Key Club Day North and South if you are an on-site LTG, and if you are an if you are an on-site Key Club member. If you are an off-site Key Club member, you should still be attending your Lieutenant Governor's off-site event for Key Club Day North or Key Club Day South. Of course, regularly scheduled fundraisers and service projects should be a requirement for your term as an officer. Also consider attending Kiwanis events because your relationship with your Kiwanis club is typically a sign and an indicator of your strength as a club. Consider attending your club meetings, your club officer, or your Kiwanis meetings at least once a month, and Kiwanis service projects. All officers are expected to attend Lieutenant Governor's DCMs. You should also be promoting them. Aim to have 5 or more of your your club members present at your Lieutenant Governor's DCMs. If members don't know what a DCM is, show them photos. Tiffany, when she presents material on editors, she will further emphasize the importance of pictures. You heard me mention Key Club Day South and Key Club Day North and DCON earlier on. Make sure that you save these dates in your calendars, make sure you write them down, and make sure that you are constantly reminding your members of these dates. Key Club Day South will be on Saturday, August 23rd in Portland, Oregon, and Key Club Day North will be on Saturday, September 6th in Federal Way, Washington. DCON 2026 will be held from March 6th to March 8th in Portland, Oregon. Communication is another important aspect for every member to be considering. Ask yourself, am I reaching the most number of members possible? Is this communication effective? Are members actually reading this information? Does our social media page have a significantly less number of followers than members? Use these questions to guide how you communicate, whether that be through social media. Instagram is one of my personal favorites, and that is also the favorite of many of the district executives this year. Also use these questions to maybe identify how you should be using a group chat. Maybe GroupMe or Remind is the most effective method. Or maybe you should consider whether your club is a small or large club. Email groups can also be beneficial. Maybe you can send bi-weekly or monthly emails to your clubs using a group email. Delegation is an important skill for all leaders, but it's important to know the do's and don'ts. When delegating, choose peers based on a fair and objective assessment of their skills and abilities. You should be gauging your members' strengths and weaknesses, and you should utilize those when delegating. An important skill for delegation is to be precise. Often, the delegates will not know how to complete the task if you are not precise. Use simple procedures and demonstrations, be supportive and trusting, and praise positive achievements in public. Do not overextend your power. Don't try to dominate, and don't criticize your officers in front of others. Don't overreact to problems or mistakes, and don't overcontrol the performance of your delegates. Allow them to complete the task in their own way, but provide demonstrations and provide concise and clear instructions. It's also important for you to consider what tasks should be delegated. Those that are often delegated include routine activities such as icebreakers, fact-finding assignments, or other tasks that are straightforward and that can easily be accomplished by another member of your officer committee or of a committee within your club. Tasks that you should not delegate include core responsibilities. For example, a vice president is typically responsible for overseeing committees and attending committee meetings. Presidents too, but vice presidents more so. Vice presidents, therefore, should not delegate this responsibility unless it is absolutely necessary for somebody else to attend a committee meeting. When delegating, also create a plan to delegate. Don't be haphazard because, again, that will cause confusion and it will be ineffective. You heard me say this before, but this is one of the most important aspects of delegation. Use others' strengths. Others may even do a better job than you. So consider the strengths of your members and fellow officers and utilize those strengths to the best of your ability. As a final note on delegation, ensure that you are delegating, not abdicating. Even if you ask someone else to accomplish a task, you should not abdicate because you are still responsible for its completion and the quality of that completed product. Kiwanis family relations are an important aspect of your role as an officer. Your club exists because of your sponsoring Kiwanis Club. Therefore, you should be updating your sponsoring Kiwanis Club about everything your club is doing, whether it be a meeting, a service project, a fundraiser, or attendance at Decon or Key Club days. Seek your advisor's guidance and help when needed because they are incredibly experienced and they provide a much broader view of this organization. Attend Kiwanis events and invite them to yours. Make them feel involved and ensure that they know that you want to be involved. It's a two-way street, and you should do your best to walk that two-way street. Also, reach out to all branches within your division. K-Kids and Builders Clubs are especially important because they are the future of Key Club. Often, if a feeder school within your school district, contains a K-Kids or Builders Club, they can help to strengthen your Key Club down the road because they will be the future members of your Key Club. Also contact Circle K because that will be the feeder. You are the feeder of Circle K. Key Club members will then feed Circle K, that organization. So consider contacting them and plan a joint service project or fundraiser with your local Circle K chapter. Furthermore, consider what your advisors can offer your Key Club. Service opportunities can be an important aspect that your Kiwanis advisor can provide. Kiwanis clubs meet year-round, so they are always planning something. If you as officers don't have any ideas for service projects, seek the guidance of your Kiwanis advisor in sponsoring Kiwanis Club and consider being involved with one of their upcoming service projects. Kiwanis advisors also provide guidance, training, and support to officers. They have seen it all, especially if they have been involved in Key Club for several years. They know what does and does not work. So if you are struggling to make a decision, and even if you're just making any routine decision, ask for your Kiwanis advisor's guidance. Kiwanians are also incredibly well connected. If they aren't community or business leaders themselves, they definitely know people who are. So leverage their connections to ensure that your club is successful and to ensure that you are able to achieve your goals as a club officer and as a club. As a note on self-reflection and personal development, self-reflection is one of the most important tools for officers and for leaders in general. Take time to take a step back. What are you trying to get out of this year? Why do you stay in Key Club? And why are you serving as an officer? How are you monitoring your personal progress and your club's progress? Are you satisfied with your work? These are important questions to ask yourself. It is often easy to identify when something is effective or ineffective if you pause and reflect. This continuous reflection allows you to continuously improve your club. One final question I have to ask. Are you ensuring that this position is worthwhile for yourself and for your members? You will reap from this position what you invest. You will gain what you put into this position. So ensure that you are balancing these two aspects. Professionalism. This is something that applies to all officers and really all members. This is something that all members can consider, but especially officers. Because you are associated with Key Club. You are the brand. Key Club represents itself through its officers and through its members. Therefore, what you post on social media matters. You should be professional at all times, not just at meetings or at Key Club events. Be cognizant of how you behave. Be the leader that you want to look up to, especially because members look up to you. This is where self-reflection will again be so important, because it will allow you to gauge if you are acting in a way that would allow members to look up to you. When you start to lack motivation, remember why you wanted to lead your club. This is less of a note regarding professionalism, but more of a note on your purpose. If you remember your purpose, you will remain motivated throughout the year, and you will remain dedicated to your work. Email etiquette kind of falls under that professionalism category. Be professional. Do not use slang. Be concise and informative, because flowery language can often distract from your main message. Ensure that you are proofreading your emails and plug them into Google Docs to use their spell check feature. Ensure that you attach attachments. I often say attached to this email is this document, but sometimes I forget to attach it. So make sure you're double checking that. Regarding when you send emails, common professionalism requires that you send emails between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Don't send emails at 1 in the morning or 3 in the morning, because that is considered less professional, and it is something that professionals take note of. Regarding the content of your emails, you can include reminders and updates, deadlines and dates, and really whatever else is most appropriate or most required or necessary. Another important aspect of email etiquette is a professional email address. Consider, if you have used the same email address for several years, consider changing it to something more formal or more professional, such as your first name and last name at gmail.com. When signing your emails, ensure that you're including the proper components. This will help your email appear even more professional. In the bottom right corner is an example of my district governor email address, which includes my name, position, organization, and email. Finally, a note on inclusion. Ensure that everyone is included and represented when planning meetings. Ask yourself if all members are participating in icebreakers and if they are actively engaged in your meetings. Consider, when planning service projects, fundraisers, or meetings, if there are financial barriers that keep members from being involved. Additionally, regarding dues, consider these financial barriers, because paying dues can be a significant challenge for some families and some members. Also consider transportation barriers, because these can be a significant challenge, especially for underclassmen. Leadership opportunities in Key Club. This is something I also want to highlight, because many club members are not aware of the opportunity within this organization. I know that was something that I was less aware of, and I wish I was more aware of it sooner. As the officers, please stress higher leadership opportunities, because many members might be highly qualified and might add a lot of value to this organization. Some offices that you can serve in or be elected to include Lieutenant Governor, if you want to serve on the district board, a district executive, such as myself, the governor, or the secretary, treasurer, or editor. To run for this position, you must be present at DCON, however, and you must register and be well aware of the updates and election packets. If you would like to serve as an international trustee, international president, or international vice president, you must attend DCON and campaign for endorsement, and then you must attend the International Convention, which will be in Dallas, Texas in 2026. If you have any questions about running for higher office, please feel free to email me. With that, I will hand over the OTC presentation to Tiffany Vo to present on editor material.
Thank you, Gavin. Okay, everyone, welcome to the editor aspect of our OTC. So, what is an editor? To keep it short, an editor can be simply explained as a promoter, a photographer, and of course, an editor, which I'll be explaining in reverse order. So, an extremely important aspect of being an editor is knowing the Key Club International Brand Guide. So, what is the brand guide? The brand guide is here to maintain a recognizable brand throughout Key Club International related publications. In general, it's here to keep a brand and keep things overall consistent. Why do we have these graphic standards though? Like I said before, these graphic standards are here to maintain a unified brand and an identity to Key Club International. In other words, think of it as maintaining a Key Club look throughout all your publications. Inside this brand guide, you can find the fonts. These fonts are 6 fonts that are recognized by Key Club International, and my personal favorite to use is Century Gothic. Another thing that's included in our brand guide is this color map. Colors are an important aspect in your position as being editor, as it keeps consistency throughout all publications and can be a way to color code. For example, with Pinwall, we use green to incentivize money and anything that's related to Pinwall. And of course, using colors makes your graphics more attractive and more appealing to your audience. So some tips when using colors is to only pick a couple, don't overstimulate the colors, keep some and keep it consistent, and know your contrast and make sure it's easy to read. Lastly, inside our brand guide is logos. Logos is a fairly easy thing to understand as they usually come as they are. So just remember, don't make any unnecessary changes to logos. Don't cover them, don't crowd them, don't make the proportions odd, so don't stretch them or make them just lopsided. And make sure to not combine logos, just leave them as they are. So how can you access these graphics? So through this link right here, you are able to access all graphics relating to Key Club International, along with Pacific Northwest Key Clubs such as Mortimer the Moose. Okay, so how exactly do you make these graphics? So here's some various programs that you can use to make graphics. You can use Microsoft, Publisher, PowerPoint, Word, Google Slides, Canva, which is how I make all of our graphics for the PNW, and MailChimp, which is what our lieutenant governors use. And always remember content over design. Make sure it's easy to read and make sure all the information is on there before you make it pretty. When making graphics, it's important to remember page setups, as it's important to keep these consistent. I won't go through all of these, but here are some page sizes that you need to remember when making things such as publications like newsletters, which is here, as shown on our screen, is the espresso, and the measurements are shown on the left. If you're using programs like Canva, most of the sizes are already pre-made, so you don't need to worry about it, but I would take a picture of this if you guys need it. Moving on, here are a couple things you need to know when creating graphics. Take advantage of text box as it allows you to write content and drag it around, rotating it and changing its shape. Similar to text box are picture boxes, which allows you to insert photos and change their sizes and again, their shape. Another important aspect of being an editor is knowing the send to back command. This command allows you to layer graphics and photos and text on top of each other to make cool pages, and also it allows you to make words more easy to read. And lastly, remember color scheme. This promotes consistency throughout your pages and also makes your post pretty. Now, let's take a moment to explain content specifically through social media. It's important to take advantage of social media, as it's often how many of us communicate now. So here are a couple ideas of how you can take advantage of your club's personal social media. So event recaps. Something that we do is What's Poppin' PNW, which recaps any events relating to their division. Also, post upcoming events and deadlines. As shown on the right, there's Key Club Days registration, which is an upcoming deadline, and take advantage of countdowns. When you incentivize countdowns throughout your social media pages, it brings urgency to events and makes your members more aware of the deadline coming up. Additionally, using your social media as a way to recognize members within your club, such as members who have shown up to multiple service projects, maybe even recognizing officers, it's just a good way to promote. Additionally, take advantage of Reels. Personally, on the PNW Instagram, we take advantage of trending audios. Make sure to know your audience and know what is appealing to them, and use these Reels as a way to inform your members, not a way to just simply entertain them. Okay, so how do you maintain a feed? When maintaining a feed and using photos, make sure you know that it's a good picture. Some questions you can ask yourself in your head when deciding if this is a good picture is it high resolution? Is it consistent with the rest of your theme? Does it show action or impact? Does it tell a story? And do the visual elements bring attention to one place? So shy away from only posting infographics. A way that I do that is posting reels and recaps, recognition posts, as it breaks apart a bunch of information and makes your page more entertaining. A very amazing way for you to be inspired is through our PNW Key Club Instagram, which is added right there, and you can find our Instagram through that. Okay, so many of us probably already have a social media page that we post, but another way you can promote content to your members is through newsletters. On the right are some newsletters that are promoted by our lieutenant governors. So what should you include in your newsletters? Obviously, organizations, make sure you have clear headers and a table of contents, as you can have as much information as you want, but if it's not organized and easy to read, it's very unhelpful for your members. Some things you can include in your newsletter is a president's letter, which can often update what's been going on in that month or anything the president wants to send out to their members. Again, recognition, member of the month is really important as it recognizes members that have been doing an outstanding job in your club and also encourages other members to do the same thing. Make sure to take advantage of pictures, doing months at a glance, or using those pictures to promote upcoming events. Again, promoting upcoming events, fundraising updates are very important as it keeps your club informed. And lastly, make sure to include officer contacts if any of your members have questions. Okay, remember to always reach out, because you can make all of these graphics, you can post all of these on your social media, send them out, but if you don't reach out, they won't be received by your members and there's really no point in making them. So here are some ways to reach out. So post them on your social media page. You can email them to your lieutenant governor, where they can post it on newsletters, or again, keep your division informed of any events in your club. Email to your local Kiwanis, email to club advisors, and again, email to members and officers and promote it at your next meeting. Okay, here's the photographer aspect of being an editor. Always keep a camera handy. This can simply be your phone if you don't have a professional camera, and use it when you can. And if you are absent, make sure you can have a friend that can take photos of events. So on the right is me taking photos at our spring board, where I'm taking our board photos. So ignore the pose I'm making, but this is us taking our official photos, and that is Division 44's Lieutenant Governor. When taking group photos, make sure to be inclusive and take a picture of everybody, but don't make photos take up too much time, as these people are here for the event, not to be here for a photo shoot. And make sure to upload promptly. You can use Google Slides or simply just Google Photos, and share these through various social media pages. Okay, when being a photographer, make sure you know what you're taking a picture with. So here's a do and a don't type of photo. So both show people, but one is more clear and clearly shows a group of people. You can see their faces and it's like all clustered together. The other photo, on the other hand, is kind of off, it's at a weird angle and you can't really see what is going on and who's in the photo. So be really aware of what photos you take and what can be seen by members on your Instagram or any social media pages. Okay, lastly, we got to the promoter part of being an editor. So what does promotion mean in Key Club? Promotion means to keep everyone informed and excited about your club and its work. Using social media pages to promote things in Key Club and make sure that members and officers are reposting. You can promote by sharing reminders, such as on the PNW Instagram, we posted a reminder for the Executive Officer Training Conference, which is why many of you are here. And remember to publicize any upcoming events, such as meetings, fundraisers, and of course, service events. This allows you to get membership recruitment, and retainment as you keep the members updated on everything going on in your club. If your lieutenant governor tells you to promote these events, promote it. Additionally, being a promoter is reaching out. So make sure to reach out to various accounts, such as your high school account or local organizations which your club volunteered at. Okay, with this position and being a promoter of events, it may be overwhelming. So make sure to prepare ahead. If you know your club schedule and any events that may be coming up in the future, consider creating an upload schedule. I personally have a calendar where I remind myself what posts need to happen and kind of remind myself days in advance to create them. So some things that in the summer that you may need to be aware of is Key Club Day registration, which is coming up soon, upcoming service projects, any DCMs held by your lieutenant governor, and much, much more. You can do this by creating promotional videos where you can get groups of your members or officers together to create, or just simply doing countdowns and various other posts. Some questions that you may want to ask yourself is, how often are you wanting to post? What type of pictures do you want to post? And how can you maximize the number of people seeing these posts? Again, looping back to countdowns, consider posting countdowns in regular intervals, such as 2 weeks before, 1 week, and then an individual day countdown. Don't overdo this, as countdowns can be overly unnecessary if you constantly post them, but make sure that you take advantage of them, as more content will always be helpful. Okay, moving on to the webmaster position. So what are the benefits of creating a website as a webmaster? Creating a website allows your club members to have an easy way to get all announcements and updates. It can also just be an easy way to get links and have everything in one place so that members don't get confused. Plus, it's also very easy for people considering joining Key Club to learn more about your individual Key Club if you have everything in one place. So here are some signs that you may need a website. If you have a large club, maybe over 100 registered members, and people can't often find what they need to find, it might be your sign to create a website so that it's easily accessible for all members and allows your email to also get less cluttered with questions. Many people may have a hard time keeping track of what's going on, so a website is really important when having a club. So here's some information on how to start a website. So here's some platforms you can use: Wix, Weebly, WordPress, and Elementor, which is what our PNW website is currently using, and Canva. So here's some content that you can include in your website. You can include upcoming events, fundraisers, meetings, and you can organize all of this on a calendar with links so that members can see the whole month at a glance. You can also post meeting notes or PowerPoints of slideshows if members miss meetings, as it keeps your club informed of everything going on. You can include officer or advisor contacts, social media links, and of course, information about your Kiwanis sponsor. Make sure everything is easily accessible. Okay, lastly, when being a webmaster, management is something very important. Some parts that you can do on your website is creating a calendar/events page, which I went over earlier, as you can have the whole month in a glance and people can easily sign up or register for events. Make sure you're always replacing outdated information with new information, as you don't want to miscommunicate any information towards your members. And ensure your website has engaging and user-friendly design. Our personal website, we have buttons that categorize information, which makes it super easy. So, what tools will make members want to use your website? What will be most useful to them? So remember, service hour trackers or submission sheets. This can vary depending your high school, but you should all know that, and that's something really important to link on your website. Have easily accessible and relevant forms and applications, and promote any upcoming events. All of this takes time and practice, so don't be hard on yourself if it's not perfect at the same time. Each platform has its own tools that you have to get used to, so just play around and figure out how you want to create your website. And now I'm going to hand it off to Andrea Gonzalez, our district treasurer, to present her part on treasurer training.
Thank you, Tiffany. I will now go over the responsibilities of a club treasurer. So, starting off, you'll be responsible for managing the club's finances. This includes working to plan any fundraisers. The money raised from these fundraisers can be donated towards the district project of Ronald McDonald House Charities. It could be saved for different Key Club events such as Decon or Key Club Days, or you could put the money towards a service project or Key Club meetings. Such a possibilities are endless. If you're in need of fundraising ideas, please do consider checking out the PNW DFIT, which is the Pacific Northwest Directory of Fundraising Tips, Ideas and Tips. Or if you have any ideas for larger scale fundraisers, consider applying for the PINWAF. If you would like more information on the PINWAF, please consider joining me and the rest of the PINWAF committee on Wednesday, September 17th at 7 p.m. for our annual informational webinar. When it comes to fundraising, you need to make sure you are working with your members and fellow club officers to generate ideas that appeal to your school and community. Because what worked from one school or a different division might not work for yours, and that's okay. Every school is completely different. Other than fundraising, transparency is key to the role of treasurer. When it comes to overlooking your finances, you should be updating the rest of the officer board and your faculty advisor with any new information or anything you do in regards to expenses or revenue intake. It's important to be checking in with your school bookkeeper or school treasurer to receive updates on your club finances. Club treasurers should also have a full understanding of the financial status of the clubs and take appropriate action when needed. For example, if your club is lacking funding, you should plan to hold a fundraiser during the school year to meet your club's needs. It's essential that you work with your secretary and faculty advisor to make sure Kiwanis Engage is working properly and in order to submit dues in a timely manner. If a club does not pay its dues by February 1st, the club will become suspended and no longer be in good standing with Key Club International. In order to become active again, the club will need to submit a membership roster along with the Key Club missing dues for at least 15 members. If a suspended club does not pay its dues by October 1st, the club will now become inactive. This means the club will no longer receive resources from Key Club International. In order to become active again, the club must complete and submit the petition for reactivation form, along with the $100 reactivation fee and membership dues for at least 15 members. So as of 2024 Key Club International Convention, the dues are now $15.50. Of that, 10 of the dues go to Key Club International or PNW Key Club. Your club can choose to charge more than those $15.50, and those extra fees can be collected and used for service projects and decons and such. For example, a school within my own division charges $20 for dues, and with that $15.50, they use it to buy each member a club shirt. So now let's go over what your dues support. For international dues, it sponsors and supports the Youth Opportunities Fund, international publications, the International Board, membership cards, and liability insurance. The district dues sponsor and support the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund, the Espresso, District Board Travel and Meetings, Officer Resources, and the PNW Key Club website. Make sure that your members know how their dues are being reinvested into their membership experience and how their club is utilizing that money. And remember, members and clubs that are not dues paid cannot attend Decon. So if you have any interest in attending Decon, please make sure that you get your dues in on time. In order to pay dues, you'll need to work with your club secretary to create a member roster in Kiwanis Engage. When it comes time to pay, you'll need to contact your bookkeeper to ensure they can either pay through credit card or mail in a check with an invoice from the Kiwanis Engage to Key Club International before the deadline. The membership roster can be updated periodically throughout the year anytime before February 1st. The early bird dues deadline is November 1st, and the regular dues deadline is December 1st. Please make sure to submit your dues in a timely manner before the deadline. A quick note that these dates are the dates that your dues must be received. They shouldn't be sent on this date but received. So if you send your dues on November 1st, those won't be considered early bird dues if they aren't received on that date. It's important to keep financial records throughout your term. Be transparent with your members about club finances because this establishes trust among club members. Depending on your school, you may be required to create a budget for the club. These financial records will keep you accountable in case of financial mismanagement. The main document you should be creating are a club budget. Knowing your school policy on handling money is vital to keeping your club's funds secure. Know the school's money handling guidelines and follow them. Every school is different, so again, you'll want to meet with your bookkeeper to see what's specific to your school. Students should not be keeping money in their possession. Make sure that an adult, such as your faculty advisor, is always there for you to do. Similarly, be sure to count money in pairs and that both people know where the funds are going and where they're being kept so that you can keep each other accountable. And then before I end, I would like to provide you some information on treasurer resources. Some resources are the budgeting and expense template, also known as the BET spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet that can be used to track monthly club expenses and fundraising. It should be primarily used to keep finances organized and easy to read. The next resource that I touched on a little earlier is the PNW DFIT. The DFIT is a directory of fundraising ideas and tips, which is a resource for treasurers to gain insight on fundraising ideas and tips to use throughout their term. The DFIT is currently being updated at this moment, so if you have any ideas on fundraising or tips that you think should be added, please make sure to fill out the form in my monthly treasurer update. And then if you have any questions on the content presented above, please do not hesitate to email me at treasurer@PNW Key Club. And now I will pass it to Caitlin to present the secretary training.
All right, moving on to secretary training. Your duties primarily consist of collecting member information, recording meeting minutes, recording meeting and event attendance, member service hour tracking, and completing secretary reports. Some tips and tricks for successfully completing your role is that organization is key. Everything in your club should be easy to access or find. Communication. Be clear and timely. You are responsible for organizing the club and getting all the information for secretary reports. So be a very effective communicator. Next, time management. Be efficient and purposeful with your time. And then one thing that I didn't know as a secretary, but I realize is very important now, is being good with spreadsheets as you're handling a lot of big data sets. First, membership information collection. So in order to get your dues paid and register members, you have to enter it to the MUC, or now Kiwanis Engage. You must enter members' information to get through DCON and ICON registration and to be eligible for scholarships. It is also very important to have a central database for member contacts and information for your personal use. So what to include is first and last name, grade or graduation year, their phone number, email address, and emergency contact, and optionally have a fun question like your birthday so you can recognize them. A few tips is to use Google Forms and Google Sheets, especially if you're a bigger club. Gather information during a mandatory meeting so you ensure everyone is filled it out. Include KCI member ID number or your Key Club member ID number in your central database so you can easily access that information. Begin member registration early, way before the deadline to pay dues. And then collaborate with other officers to enter information into Kiwanis Engage. More Kiwanis Engage information and training will come later since it is a new platform, and I'm sure that your old secretary will be happy to help. Next, attendance. You must take attendance at every meeting. Make sure you're taking notes of speakers, Kiwanis, other Kiwanians, and other guests, as well as which board members are present or absent. You can use a sign-in sheet or an electronic Google form to record attendance, though I do recommend using a physical sign-in sheet. If you can't attend, ask someone else to take attendance in your absence, but please stress that attendance is important, especially as a board member. Next, to keep records. Make sure that you keep all your attendance records electronic so all officers have access. You can use them to complete secretary reports and input information into the service log report. And this is especially important if you give your club members service hours for attending meetings and service projects. Next, stay involved. Do your best to attend all events since you are the one that's primarily responsible for taking attendance, and stress that attendance is important for your entire officer board. On the left is an example of a simple sign-in sheet, which I recommend you do more than a QR code because it tends to have more people fill it out since it's more convenient. And then to incentivize people to fill in attendance more is to make it fun. You can pass out raffle tickets and have everyone write their names and then draw one at the end of the meeting and give them a prize. Next, meeting minutes. The reason we take meeting minutes is that many school districts, some, are taking meeting minutes about fundraisers or field trips that you're planning to go on are needed for school approval. It also ensures transparency and accountability for your club to make sure that you're saying what you say you would do. It is good to reference to build future meeting agendas or plans, and it is very, very helpful for completing your secretarial report. A few tips is it doesn't have to be word by word. Only record the relevant information and stuff you know you will have to go back to in the future. I recommend you create a Google folder with all the meeting minutes you have taken and list in chronological order on separate documents, not just one continuous one. Take note of all officers and special guests that are present or absent, and write down any action items or delegated tasks so you make sure those all get done. Next, tracking hours. Track hours at all times. This goes back to attendance. You should be attending all service projects, DCMs, and fundraisers, so you make sure that everyone that is there is getting credit for it. It also makes secretary reports much easier and is really important if you're a club that has a service hour requirement. Track it electronically. Use things like Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel to track everyone's service hours. Organize it by last name and color code it or create different tabs for each grade. And make sure it is member accessible. So if your club has a service hour requirement, that all members are able to see how they are progressing. Secretarial reports. This is the most important part of your role. They are due on the 5th of every month at 11:59 p.m. and should take 1 to 3 hours to complete well. Secretary reports share with the district the current activities and progress your club is and how your club is doing as a whole, and allows me to provide feedback and assistance to your club if needed. The form is found through the PNW Key Club website, and the same form is used every month, so there's no need to wait for the new one to be sent out. Remember to forward the email receipt to all your club officers, your faculty advisors, your Kiwanis advisors, and your Kiwanis secretary. Please do not forward it to me as I already have access to the form. Additionally, remember to forward it to your lieutenant governor as well, and be very thorough and thoughtful with your answers. But why are secretary reports important? They are the only official tool for clubs to communicate with the district. They allow me to identify challenges, not just in your own club, but overall challenges our district is facing and help rectify those issues. It also maintains a record that your club officers can use to reflect on its progress each month and set goals for the next year. Organization. As I said before, as secretary, you are responsible for organizing your club. So for storing files, I recommend you keep a Google Drive with subfolders. Things you should keep are club bylaws, club meeting timeline, meeting minutes, committee reports, past annual achievement reports, past monthly reports, due submission, club roster, and record of club property. These are all very important documents not only for your club, but to maintain good standing with your school. So please make sure that you know where all of these are. And going back to spreadsheets, they are a very effective tool for organization and data management only if you know how to use them correctly. They are also a really great skill to have in life in general and is really beneficial when you apply for jobs in the future. I would recommend you copy templates from the Secretary Resource Drive I've given you and use YouTube videos or online tutorials to learn how to use spreadsheets effectively. And then Secretary Resources. I have set up a Secretary Resource Drive that has the Decon Secretary workshop slides, a sample report, a sample meeting minutes, and the guidebooks from KCI and Pacific Northwest Key Club. It has a lot of important resources for you as a secretary and help you throughout your term. is accessible through the link in the slides that we will send out later, and it is also in all of the monthly updates and secretary report responses I have sent out. And then going on to President and VP training.
Yes, thank you, Caitlin. So we will start with the role of the president, and we have 3 slides, so buckle up, presidents. Your job is to provide supportive leadership. In your role, it is important for you to establish a climate of enthusiasm, openness, and concern. Leaders are energetic and excited. That's an important aspect of your role, especially as the chief executive of your club. Follow up with your members, congratulate their accomplishments, and listen. By listening, you can demonstrate that you are concerned and accessible. Ensure that your members feel that you care about them and know that you care about them. Under this same category, seek input and explore alternatives before making important decisions. Just because you are the chief executive does not mean that you have to make every decision alone. In fact, you should not do so. You should seek the input and the advice of those around you. As the president, also conduct and preside over meetings. This is one of the most visible aspects of your role. Create an agenda for your regularly scheduled meetings. To do this, seek members' input. Ensure that meetings are well planned, well organized, fun, and timely. And by timely, I mean that your meetings should end and begin on time. As you organize and conduct these meetings, arrange and conduct a monthly officer board meeting alongside those regularly scheduled meetings. This will be important for the leaders to meet and to schedule meetings together, to maybe provide input on secretary reports, to schedule service projects and fundraisers. And overall, this is an incredibly important aspect of your role, to coordinate these officer board meetings. Your job is also to manage elections. It's a common misconception that club elections can be held in the fall, at the start of the year. This is incorrect, however. As the president, please ensure and see to it that elections are scheduled early and that they are scheduled to occur in February. This is typically when elections are expected to occur, so that there can be a transition period and your officers can be ready to take over by the time the new Key Club year starts on April 1st, 2026. Presidents are also responsible for planning the strategy of the club and setting club goals. Continuously evaluate club meetings and operations to inform these goals and to gauge your progress, because evaluation results in improvement. When you're setting goals, ensure that goals are clear and attainable. Satisfaction as an officer and as a leader is derived from leading a well-rounded and high-performing club. Continuously monitor the club's progress toward these goals. Again, this evaluation results in improvement, so always ensure you are monitoring progress. Ensure officers and appointees are also fulfilling their responsibilities. As the chief executive officer, you will be ensuring that accountability is a club standard. Your job will also consist of selecting committees and chairpersons and making special appointments. Define the specific role and responsibilities of each appointee and committee. Provide committees, for example, with directives that they should be accomplishing throughout the year. Maybe you provide monthly objectives that can inform these directives and inform the work of these committees and appointments. When selecting committee chairs and committees in general, you will be responsible for appointing chairs and members. As the president, work with committee chairs on their proposed projects and follow up with them to ensure that they are following up on these projects each month. As an ex officio member of all committees, you should attend as many committee meetings as possible. However, allow the chair to run these meetings because you appointed them and entrusted them with this position. However, if they do begin to fall short, hold them accountable and provide guidance as needed. Presidents are also responsible for attending PCMs, making executive decisions, and collaborating with your lieutenant governor. Along the same vein of collaboration with your LTG, ensure that you're responding to your lieutenant governor's correspondence via email, text message, Instagram DM, or whatever communication medium is preferred, regularly and in a timely manner. Vice presidents, you are kind of the quintessential version of a key clubber because you're in service to all the officers and all the members of your club. You will substitute for the president when they are absent, and you will also substitute for any other officers if they require your assistance. Take the initiative to help out without being asked. This, again, falls into your quintessential service agreement. Educate club members on Key Club 101. The Key Club 101 slides that we addressed and we presented in the early stages of this presentation, those are important topics for your club to be knowledgeable about. As the vice president, also work to recruit and retain members. Take initiative in this topic. And if your club has any committees, you should help oversee them. This is an important aspect of your role. Together, presidents and vice presidents should be collaborating. They should serve alongside each other, support each other, help to network with the club, with the school, and with the community. You should ensure that you are including the Kiwanis family, collaborate with your lieutenant governor, help each other delegate, set goals, plan events, and of course, be involved. This is an important aspect for every member of your club and every officer of your officer board. Presidents and vice presidents will be taking the leading role in planning meetings. The basics when it comes to planning meetings include planning meetings with all your officers. This is when it will be so important to coordinate monthly officer board meetings. Delegate tasks to each officer. For example, the treasurer can maybe be responsible for the icebreaker, the secretary can be responsible for taking attendance, and the vice president can be responsible for sharing any updates that the president might like them to do so. Keep your meetings regular. For example, maybe you hold your meetings on the first and third Thursday of each month. I would maybe advise you against hosting meetings on every other Thursday because that gets very confusing if you hold an event on every other day of the week. Preparing your meetings. It'll be important for you to prepare these 3 to 5 days ahead, create an agenda for these meetings, and create a PowerPoint. This can be a task that you maybe delegate to a fellow officer, such as the editor or webmaster. Because, as Tiffany said earlier, graphics are your best friend and pictures are your best friend. So PowerPoints are incredibly useful tools for your meetings. After the meeting, send the PowerPoint to your members and follow up with members who weren't in attendance and provide them the agenda. Some fun meeting ideas include guest speakers or workshops. Consider inviting a member or a staff member from Ronald McDonald House Charities, and consider what topics your members would find interesting. It's particularly impactful when you ask your members one-on-one and you have a conversation about their interests. This can demonstrate that you are a concerned leader and that you are listening and that you are accessible, but it can also ensure that your meetings are engaging and interesting. Also host a service project during your meetings. Sometimes when members face transportation challenges, hosting a service project at an event can circumvent these challenges and result in a more inclusive club. Start or end a meeting with team building games as well. Give away prizes, host potlucks, and have each member bring a food item that they enjoy, especially for celebrations. Feature pictures from your events and your presentation, and maybe hold a miracle minute to support a charity about which your club is passionate or to support the district project. Interclubs. These are kind of when your key club collaborates with other clubs within your school. This collaboration helps to expand your audience, allows members to meet new people, and many key clubbers are incredibly intrigued in networking opportunities, so this can be an appealing option for many of your members. This also helps to promote relationships with other groups. When thinking about collaboration, consider your sponsoring Kiwanis Club, other community service clubs in your school, and local key clubs. Possible ideas for interclub events also include a DCM at your school. Maybe you can contact your LTG and offer to host an interclub or a DCM at your school. Hold an awards banquet for outstanding community volunteers, volunteer together at large events, and host club socials with other clubs and other key clubs. Key club doesn't always have to be about service. I know that's something we're all passionate about, but also ensure that you're including a social aspect in your club. So, I want to circle back to presidential council meetings. You heard me refer to these earlier. Lieutenant governors are required to host these meetings on a monthly basis. They are designed for club presidents to share ideas with one another, receive updates, and ask questions. Take advantage of them because they are an incredible opportunity for you to network, to collaborate as you resolve issues that might be common to several clubs within the division. If you are not the president, at least one officer from each club should be present at the PCM. So if you know that your president will not be able to attend a PCM, maybe they reach out to you, or maybe they even don't, and you know that they are just busy, make an effort to attend these PCMs. If another officer wants to attend a PCM, even if the president is attending, they are more than welcome to do so because these meetings are not closed. As a final note on PCMs, they are critical to the success and development of the clubs and divisions throughout the district. They make it easier for everyone to do their jobs and for you to grow your club. Please make time to attend them each month and communicate with your lieutenant governor if you find that you are frequently unable to attend these PCMs. For example, if your lieutenant governor hosts PCMs on the third Wednesday of every month, but you know that you work on every Wednesday, ask your lieutenant governor if there is a day of the week that we can shift presidential council meetings to. Club committees. Circling back to these, if your club adheres to the Key Club Standard Form bylaws, it may have 7 committees, including the K-Fam Relations Committee, the Program Committee, which plans programs and coordinates events, the Project Committees, which host service projects, Public Relations, which ensures that there are strong relationships within the school, and with other community organizations. Social committees can help plan social events and incorporate the social aspect of Key Club. Membership development can help recruit and retain members, and the Major Emphasis Committee can help plan projects related to the Major Emphasis Program, which is children, their future, our focus. Some tips for club committees include keeping in mind that they are not necessarily for large clubs, because even a small club can have committees. Even if only one person serves on a committee, they can help to create a new dynamic and help delegate specific tasks or aspects of club committee work. Set goals for each committee and check in on them monthly, especially as a president or vice president. Provide specific goals and directives and consistently follow up. Use committees to delegate responsibilities to other people. Don't take on every project by yourself. You will learn that you will eventually become burnt out and that you cannot dedicate as much energy and that you cannot excel as much in these areas of your role. Trusting others to complete work is critical in effective leadership. It is also important for you to find the right balance between committees and officers for your club. It's important for you to decide whether an officer can take on a task or whether you should appoint a committee chair or a committee member to take on a task. Finally, I want to address some tips for success. Keep the service options diverse and well-rounded. Seek members' input when you schedule service projects. Start a regular service project within the first month. Maybe identify service organizations that host service projects on a weekly basis. For example, there are many organizations in my hometown that host projects on the first Sunday of every month. Maybe you can become involved in those types of service projects to ensure members are consistently engaged throughout the year. Also think about how you can plan service projects to support our district project, Ronald McDonald House, because together we can have a profound impact on Ronald McDonald House charities. Partner with elementary and middle schools, especially if there are K-Kids or Builders Clubs in your division, and if there are not, consider chartering and sponsoring clubs like K-Kids or Builders Clubs. Contact different organizations and schedule service projects on a regular basis. As a final note, respond to email correspondence promptly. Consider setting aside 15 minutes each day to check your email. This is a professional gold standard to respond to emails within 24 hours. Every lieutenant governor is held to that standard, and every exec is also held to that standard. As the chief executive of your club, presidents and vice presidents, and as leaders in general, please ensure that you are checking your email frequently and that you are responding to it well within a 24-hour time frame. Some tips for organization include to try making meetings fun and interactive with PowerPoints, use visuals because those are your best friends, utilize Google Drive and Google Drive's unique organization capabilities, and also utilize Google Sheets and Google Forms. Make sure your sign-up sheets are easily accessible as well. Overall, there are lots of tips and tricks, so I won't go over this entire slide, but I want to highlight a few key tips. Talk to your sponsoring Kiwanis Club. That's kind of been a main theme of this Key Club 101 section. Educate your members on Key Club 101. Take the first meeting to include a few slides about the structure of Key Club, higher office opportunities, the district project, Decon, Key Club Day North, Key Club Day South, and other important events. Set reasonable membership goals and work with your ASB. Oftentimes, the ASB is the beating heart of your high school, so ensure that you are partnering with your ASB to ensure that your events are more successful. This slide, similar to the last one, includes a lot of quarterly responsibilities. I won't go over all of them, but some key quarterly responsibilities include to meet with your incoming officers, outgoing officers, and faculty and Kiwanis advisors to make plans and organize the coming year. This might be something you add to your to-do list if you have not already done that. Plan summer functions as well, and maintain communication with your club to guarantee that these summer functions are successful. If you have not already done so, maintain communication with your club through Remind, text messages, Instagram group chats, or some other form of communication. If you haven't already done that, maybe this is the year that you begin that. As you become the outgoing officer, begin that precedent and kind of form your legacy around that communication. Also promote and attend Key Club days, finalize plans for membership development, and prepare a booth at freshman orientation. The fall, you will execute your first meeting, begin collecting dues. As Andrea said, begin this process early. Elect directors for each class and schedule elections for February. In the winter, this is a perfect time to plan club social or service projects during the holiday season. Start planning your club's attendance at district convention early in the winter as well, like early December, even late November. Begin planning to attend decon and begin collecting registration, begin gathering a final head count, and also plan to attend your lieutenant governor's election rally, which will be held in January. Later on in the winter, you will host officer elections and elect your new 2025-2026 officers. Prior to district convention, apply for contests and awards, and encourage qualified members of your club to seek district executive officer positions such as governor, secretary, treasurer, or editor. All right, so we have breakout rooms. All right, I think everyone has joined us back from the breakout rooms. So before we conclude this officer training conference, we just have a final last couple points to make. And this is not something we will do during the OTC presentation while we are here tonight, but I want you to hopefully leave and think about how you can set goals for your individual term and for your entire officer board. Your individual goals should be pretty general and focus on what you want to accomplish in your respective position, what you want to contribute to your team, or how you want to grow as a student leader. Do these individual goals first and then share with your officer board if you're comfortable. That way you can each help each other remain accountable. After that, with a better understanding of what each officer wants to get out of this experience, the officer board will then create goals that focus specifically on what the team wants to accomplish within the club. Many of you have likely heard this acronym used before. SMART goals. Be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So just an example of a goal that many officers like to focus on is membership. How do you want to start the year when you're thinking about increasing membership? Maybe you want to utilize personal invitations, show videos such as the decon call to convention, implement a bring a buddy system, or gain just a good reputation in your school, however that looks to you. We've discussed this before, but think about mixing up your meeting styles and advertise your club. Advertise using your service opportunities because that's something that's unique to Key Club, and how we conduct those service projects is more unique due to our partnership with Kiwanis and the Kiwanis family. Also use morning announcements to promote Key Club and posters. Maybe ask your leadership class to create a couple posters, or use a meeting and involve your entire membership in creating fun posters to promote your club. Thinking about goals, you should also be thinking about personal development. When creating your goals, align your personal goals with your club goals. What skills do you want to gain throughout this year that you can then align with your club goals? What is a cause that you are passionate about that you can focus your club efforts on? What changes do you want to see in the community as a person, and how can you empower your club to create those changes? As difficult as it might be to acknowledge, or as awkward as it might be to acknowledge, having a personal motive has its benefit. You will have a targeted approach to completing your work if you identify your personal motive. Being selfish is fulfilling. Giving back doesn't mean that you can't give to yourself at the same time. Serving as an officer can be a process that results in club growth, but also personal growth. You can't give to yourself if you don't know what you want, however, so that is where self-reflection will be important, and it will be important for you to identify your motive. So again, make those individual goals, set those officer board goals, and keep those goals general for your individual, and maybe be more specific with your officer board goals. Here's an example of some goals that you might create for your monthly basis and on an annual time frame. Maybe your monthly goals can revolve around DCM attendance, meeting attendance, attending co-honest meetings, working on different methods of communication, or hosting a certain amount of service projects per month. Annual goals might be more broad and more difficult, such as increasing divisional presence. That's a little bit more squishy, so to say, so it might be more of an annual goal, and increasing overall membership and active membership is another annual goal. As a final note on goals, your monthly goals should work towards your annual goals. Assess the status of your goals each month at every officer board meeting. Some final notes. Thank you all so much for being here. Remember to reach out to us if you ever need anything. We are accessible and we want to be able to support you throughout the year. Attend all divisional and district events and stay connected by following us on social media. Make sure that you're following the PNW Key Club Instagram, your divisional Instagram, and sign up for the biweekly update system on the Pacific Northwest Key Club website. Also, remember to set goals for yourself and your term, because without goals, we have no objective, we have no direction. With that, I would like to show these QR codes to you really quickly. If you could all please scan the one on the right, that is our annual OTC survey. And I will also follow up and send you each these slides and these links. So if you please have a moment, scan those QR codes and explore those links so that we can learn how to improve our officer training conference curriculum and the experience for officers in the future. I'll leave this up for just a quick moment. All right. And I hope you all had a chance to scan those. But with that, I'd like to open the floor to some final questions. This is our last slide as well.